Okay, so if I asked you whether you were interested in studying abroad, particularly in the UK, you answer in the affirmative. What is holding you back then? You will most probably say financial constraints. If that is your answer, you are not alone. We have several other millions who have the dream of pursuing masters or pursuing furthering the education in the UK, but are thwarted by financial constraints. Remember, the UK is a conglomerate of four independent nations. You have England, you have Northern Ireland, you have Wales, and then you have Scotland. So, if you have a UK visa, you are able to operate within the confines of these four countries. Questions have been asked about exactly how much is needed to be able to pursue UK education. Uh, a master's program in the UK, and it is a question that cannot easily be answered. Cannot easily be answered because the cost analysis of how much is involved, it's a whole, involves a whole complex dynamics. Uh, because, for example, uh, universities set their own tuition fees. So the tuition fee for University A is different from the tuition fees for University B for the same program and for the same duration of the program. Another factor is the duration of your program. You have some programs lasting a year, others lasting for 2 years. I mean, a whole lot of, dynamics. And so you are not able to point out exactly how much you need to be able to pursue it. But on the basis of certain inevitables, on the basis of certain uh, must must fulfill expenses, I am able to make some projections. I have made some calculations, and I'm sure that is going to guide you as to how much you might need if you want to come to the UK for further studies. The first is your tuition fees. Yes, your tuition fee. I sampled a number of schools, about 20 of them, and I looked at the average of their fees, and it is averaging between 12,000 and 15,000 pounds. But don't be scared because if I translate 14,500 pounds into cities, then we are talking about 217,000 Ghana cities. And if I want to make it even scarier, then we are talking about 2 billion old Ghana cities. Yes, for your fees. But just as I said, I am here to allay your fears. Do not be scared because there's always a way out. You do not pay all these amounts at a go. You don't pay the 14,500 at a go. You have a percentage to pay. I also looked at how much is paid as deposit before you are issued your cars, the certificate of acceptance of study I told you about. And all you needed was, out of the 14,500, all you needed was 5,500 pounds. And I think that is manageable to some people, though not to all people. How much does 5,500 pounds deposit translate in cities or into cities? So in cities, this amount you are depositing as part payment of your fees translates into 82,500 in Ghana cities. So that is your first inevitable, your first expenses to settle. The second one is your visa fee. Of course, your visa fee is between 22,000, 25,000. And so I want us to settle on the average. So on the average, I have made it. I have tried translating all these figures into cities so that you can better appreciate it. So your visa fee should cost you 23,000 cities. And when you are done with your visa, you also have your bank statements. Remember, I am telling you the major expenses, the inevitables. what the expenses you cannot do away with if you want to pursue your dream. So your bank statement should cost you 30,000 cedis. And then your flight, your flight, your flight. I mentioned that it is the type of flight that determines the type of airline that determines the cost. Uh, just as I suggested that students should do a transit, because if you are doing a direct flight that would last from Accra to London will be about six hours. I mean, it is going to cost you sometimes well over 20,000 cedis or 15,000 cedis, as against doing a transit through Ethiopia and coming, and coming through Ethiopia, a transit through Ethiopia to the UK, that will cost you a little over 8,000 Ghana cedis. And so I did a calculation based on the 8,000 Ghana cedis for your flight. And then finally, it is important that you secure accommodation before coming, and your accommodation is also 15,000 Ghana cedis. And so when you do your totals, yes, when you total all these, you should get a figure, and that is going to guide you in the determination of how much you might need. So your deposit of £5,500 translating into 82,500 Ghana cedis, and then your visa fee of 23,000 Ghana cedis, and then your bank statement 30,000 Ghana cedis, and then your flight 8,000 Ghana cedis, and then your accommodation for 2 months, which is 15,000 Ghana cedis. I'm sure that if you do your totals, you have a figure, you have an idea of how much minimum you might need to pursue your UK dreams. See you some other time. Thank you.